All right, welcome everyone. I am literally so excited to have you here today because we're jumping right into the ultimate explainer on designing your time. Look, if you have ever felt like you're just constantly running on empty, relying on sheer brute force willpower just to drag yourself through your to-do list, this is going to change absolutely everything for you. We're breaking down the exact frameworks that top performers use to build their lives, and we're doing it all right here.
So let me ask you something. What if discipline is just a complete myth? Think about it. We've all been there, right? It's 1 a.m., you're lying in bed, staring at the ceiling, wide awake, and suddenly you are intensely motivated to completely rebrand your entire life. You're going to launch the business, you're going to get in shape, organize your whole house, but then morning comes. You push through your workday, and by 5 p.m., you hit a massive wall of pure exhaustion. You collapse on the couch and just tell yourself, well, I'll get to my goals later. Sound familiar? It completely shatters this common illusion that we all just need more discipline. The reality is, discipline is a terribly unreliable strategy.
And that brings us to the core paradigm shift of this entire explainer. We're looking at the reactive default versus the designed life. The reactive default is how most people live, just waiting around for random strikes of inspiration, constantly fighting daily fires, and always playing catch-up. But a designed life, that is about structurally protecting your energy. It's about engineering your environment so that productivity actually happens by default. We are moving away from that overwhelming state of just reacting to the world, and we're starting to treat your productivity like a meticulously designed machine.
Okay, let's dive into this. Here is the 5-pillar roadmap we are going to use to transform your daily systems. We're covering 1. Design versus default. 2. Map your energy. 3. Build the infrastructure. 4. Protect your focus. And 5. Evolve your identity.
Pillar 1. Design versus default. Shifting the paradigm. The absolute foundation here is realizing that true success is actually a subtractive process. Focus acts as a filter, not some muscle that you have to continuously strain and flex until it finally snaps.
Let's walk through a brutal reality check for a second. We all have the exact same 24 hours. But honestly, how much of that time is actually yours? If you subtract the fixed elements, 8 hours for sleep, 8 hours for work, an hour for your commute, maybe the time you waste just staring blankly into the fridge, you quickly realize your variable time is remarkably small. You don't need more hours in a day. You desperately need to ruthlessly design the handful of hours you actually have. And that subtractive focus is exactly how you access a flow state. You don't just magically fall into the zone by accident. Top performers, they trigger their flow state by design. They use specific environmental cues, maybe sitting in a specific chair that's literally only used for deep work, or throwing on noise-canceling headphones with a specific EDM playlist. They bypass waiting for motivation entirely and use these triggers to instantly boot up their brain into a superhuman level of focus.
Moving to Pillar 2, map your energy, high-yield timing. We are going to stop managing time and start managing biology.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how we can categorize your day into cup fillers and cup drainers. Look, if you're attempting a really difficult, complex new goal during a low-energy, cup-draining period, like, say, trying to hit the gym after a grueling 9 to 5 when you are naturally a morning person, that is exactly why you can't stay consistent. It's not a personal failure at all, it's an energy mismatch. You absolutely must align your high-energy windows with your biggest goals and save those mundane chores like doing laundry for your low-energy blocks.
And to lock those energy blocks in, you need what we call identity-based time anchors. Instead of scheduling a highly fragile task like go to the gym at 7 a.m., you schedule a health hour. Why? Well, because if the gym is unexpectedly closed, a task-based person fails and just goes home. But if you're protecting a health hour, you simply pivot. You go meal prep or you go for a run. You never fail the block because you are actively maintaining an identity, not just crossing off a chore.
A new yes is a no to your dream, and a no is a yes to your goals. I want you to really think about that for a second. If you want to achieve the highest level of productivity, you have to realize that every single time you agree to something outside of your design, you are actively rejecting your own future. Saying no is an absolute necessity to build a scalable life.
Pillar 3, build the infrastructure, systems, and execution. This is where we get into the mechanical, tactical hacks that make the top 1% so insanely effective at just executing on autopilot.
So here's the ultimate rule for buying back your time. Don't repeat yourself. If you find yourself doing the exact same manual task more than twice, I don't care if it's packing a suitcase, writing a specific type of email, or planning your week, you must document the steps and create a stencil. Never repeat manual work. Actually, building a checklist or a blueprint saves you vast amounts of time, energy, and decision fatigue down the road. It's a real game changer.
Part of that infrastructure is explicitly mapping out what you refuse to do. You need a not-to-do list. Doing this filters out so much mental overload. Write down those low-value tasks you can outsource, bad habits like hitting the snooze button 15 times, and especially those energy vampires. You know, the people who drain your soul faster than a Zoom meeting that definitely could have been an email. By making these decisions in advance, every subsequent choice in your day is faster, preserving all that precious brain power for deep work.
And when you do finally tackle that deep work, you have to outsmart Parkinson's law. This law states that work is basically like a gas. It expands to fill whatever container you put it in. Give yourself a month to complete a project, it takes a month. Give yourself 3 days, and somehow it gets done in 3 days. The counterintuitive trick here is to aggressively compress your timelines and call your shots publicly. Tell people your deadline. Adding real stakes forces absolute simplicity and immediate action. No way around it.
And this brilliantly illustrates the connection between your physical state and your mental output. Exhaust the body, tame the mind. You can build the greatest productivity systems in the world, but if your mind is cluttered with internal distractions and anxiety, you simply won't execute. Moving your body, working out, physically exhausting yourself, that is often the exact reset button your brain needs to fiercely protect the system you've built.
Which brings us to Pillar 4, protect your focus, guardrails, and friction. Once you have your design, your focus basically becomes a fortress, and that fortress must be violently defended against the daily barrage of distractions trying to steal your time.
You need ironclad guardrails. Digitally, I literally dare you to turn off all non-essential app notifications. Just kill the digital slot machine in your pocket. Physically, isolate yourself. Go to a coffee shop, put on your headphones, and absolutely outlaw those, hey, got a second, interruptions. The goal here is to be incredibly easy to find publicly, but remarkably hard to reach when you are in your deep work blocks.
Now, when you enter that protected time, there's this massive myth that you should start easy to build slow momentum. Actually, scratch that. We need the exact opposite approach. You need to be starting on hard mode. Doing easy tasks first is honestly like eating dessert before dinner. You just get full on empty calories. Instead, you need to tackle your most complex, high-leverage task first, the biggest domino. Knocking that out right away creates this undeniable sweeping vibe of success that absolutely carries you through the rest of the day.
Finally, Pillar 5, evolve your identity, the climax. To truly sustain this entire blueprint long-term, it can't just be about scheduling hacks. You have to undergo a fundamental evolution in how you view your goals. You must start treating them with the unshakable gravity of a second job.
But hey, no second job runs perfectly on day one. You have to prototype your week. Run A/B tests on your schedule. Try a morning health hour one week and an evening health hour the next. By treating your schedule as an experiment, you stop viewing a failed routine as some sort of personal character flaw, and you start treating it purely as data points to help you iterate and improve.
To process that data, you absolutely must conduct a weekly reflection by asking 3 core questions. Number 1, did you actually protect your identity anchor hour? Number 2, are you still just putting out fires in reaction mode, or are you actively designing your future in creation mode? And finally, what exact variable will you tweak next week? If you aren't measuring this stuff, you are quite literally just guessing.
So the crucial point is this: treat your goals like a non-negotiable second job. Radical organization, outsourcing mundane tasks, compressing your timeline, stacking your habits. These aren't just optional little hacks for the overachiever. They are mandatory requirements if you genuinely want to stop defaulting through life and start designing it.
I want to leave you with one final provocative thought. Hard work and pain are inevitable in life. Every single human goes through it. But suffering is optional. The difference between the two is purpose. So will you let pain just be suffering, or will you use these frameworks to design your purpose? Your 24 hours start right now.